2000, I'm going through some of the best movies of each year that I have been alive. And in the year 2000, I was 10.
Will's doing it.
Let's start the new millennium out with some great movies. We got the first one on my list. I have American Psycho. Definitely probably did not watch it when I was 10, but obviously watched it later on, and I loved the mood of this movie. Christian Bale is a American Psycho, if you didn't get that. They do a good job at the end not knowing whether or not he really did everything you see in the movie or it was all in his head. I know it's different from what the novel says or does, but they leave it in a cool way where it's like, was that all in his head? Did he really do all that stuff? Did he really kill those people? All that kind of things. It's very moody. It's very, you follow pretty much just him. You really don't follow any of the characters. Christian Bale is great. This movie really is well done, and you should check it out if you haven't. Next up, we have a classic period piece, Gladiator. And this is a movie that just had a sequel way too long after the first one, and it was fine, but the first one is really the one that people know and love. Ridley Scott just does such a great job with these epic scale battles and just the scale of Rome and all this different stuff that he does. He does so well. Young Russell Crowe is incredible in this movie. He really is, like, the gravitas he brings to it is great. Joaquin Phoenix does such a good job of being a slimy, disgusting emperor that you just want him to get his so bad. And I think that's like a credit to his acting. Like, he does it so slimy that you're like, this guy is the worst. Really great movie. One for the ages. Next up, we got Castaway. We have Tom Hanks all alone talking to a volleyball, but just such a good, he's a person that you can just, doesn't need anybody else in the scene. It could just be him doing different things, and he's so captivating, and you're just like, and then you start thinking in your head, like, oh, if I was on a deserted island, what would I do? I would to find food, out to get water. You see how he learns to fish. He grew out his beard, all this different stuff. And it's just so well done, and they do a really good job of when he gets found and gets brought home, that like little things like a lighter and all this food they had out, where he was just like, seeing it through his eyes after being on the island with him for so long is so interesting. Like, wow, look at all this stuff we have that I worked every day just to get a little bit of in the island. Just really, really well done. And of course, well said, I'm sorry, is a classic. You'll never beat it. Wilson Volleyball, the branding on that. I wonder if they had a brand deal with Wilson Sports Products, and FedEx is heavily in that movie too. I wonder if there was some brand money going through there. I don't know. The early 2000s was really where superhero movies took off. We have 2000, we have X-Men, the first X-Men. I loved X-Men. I still love X-Men. I still read X-Men comics today, and this movie was just so fun, and I absolutely love it. You had an amazing cast. Patrick Stewart, Sir Ian McKellen, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. You have Anna Paquin as Rogue, and I don't know any people's names off the top of my head, but it's such a good movie and so fun, and they obviously continue with more sequels, and they are here and there okay and better and things like that. But the first one is really, really good, and I love seeing their powers, all this different stuff. And it was really the start of what's to come with all these superhero movies that started coming out early 2000s and beyond. And we're going to end 2000 with two really good football movies. The first one, an absolute classic. We have Remember the Titans. Denzel just being Denzel and doing the absolute best. This movie is about race relations, about teamwork, about everything you could think of. It's in this movie. Just such a well done, interesting time, obviously, to all the segregational things that were happening, and it was just such a good movie to watch even today. It's still so good. And on the more fun, sillier side of the football movie, we have The Replacements. We have a team that goes on strike, so they bring in replacements, which pretty much I guess are scabs. But you have Keanu Reeves being like a washed up college football player who blew it at the end, and his career's never been as good, but he's still great at the game. You have an amazing cast of characters. Everyone just having a great time doing, all this different stuff. They do the classic dance in the jail cell. This movie is just so fun. If you're into football at all, this is really kind of a great movie to watch and enjoy. 2001, I am going through some of the best movies for every single year that I have been alive. In the year 2001, I was 11.
Will's doing it.
First up, we have Lord of the Rings, the first one, Fellowship of the Ring. I myself am not an enormous Lord of the Rings fan. I'm more of a sci-fi guy than fantasy, but I can still appreciate the immenseness of this trilogy starting here in 2001 with Fellowship of the Ring. The filmmaking here is top-notch between all the practical effects, all the different forced perspectives they did to make the hobbits look small. All this kind of stuff leads into a really just incredible feat. And I know there's so many classic parts of this movie. We have the ring to rule them all. My precious. Next up, we have another enormous fantasy franchise, Harry Potter. They're little baby kids in this one, and you just see them grow as the movies go on. Obviously, these movies are on TV constantly. They're rewatched a bajillion times over by everyone in the whole world. It really is a magical film, no pun intended. It really is just the wonder and things you get, like seeing everything new through their eyes, seeing all these new magical things in their world. And when you're a kid watching this movie, you really feel like you're going to Hogwarts too. You go to the castle, you see all this magic. It's just incredible and so fun. Obviously, all the child actors that are in this movie grow up throughout the years, and they get better and better. You could see when they're a little young, and the script is maybe not the strongest, and they're not the strongest actors yet because they're really, young kids. But they get better and better, and the story gets more intense and dark, and the color grading of the movies get darker and darker. But this is where it started. Harry Potter, 2001. Next up, we have an amazing, original, fun idea from Disney Pixar. Monsters, Inc. came out in 2001. The special effects in this, just to get all of Sully's fur correct, is just amazing on its own for what year this came out in. And I think they probably had to build full systems just for have his fur do its thing. But what a fun original idea. The monsters that are hiding in your closet, they're actually just doing it for fuel and energy. And then they find out actually laughs are what the thing that gets more energy. It's just a really fun, creative idea. And you have the little girl who, they think is dangerous, but it's not. And if you haven't seen Monsters, Inc., what have you been doing? It's just such a fun and I love an original idea. Every time Disney Pixar comes out with something, it's a banger. Now going over to Pixar's biggest competition at the time, DreamWorks. And you had the man himself, Shrek, came out in 2001 as well. And this was like DreamWorks is really like foyer, like their big thing that really brought them to the table. Shrek is so fun, has a bit more of a little more adult humor in it, but it's really, really great. It's still, people love Shrek even now. All the Smash Mouth songs, just Mike Myers doing a great job. And you can't forget Eddie Murphy being Donkey, one of the best characters in history. And obviously they had more sequels as time went on, some better, some worse, but the first one is pretty special. Donkey! Switch it up a bit, we have the first Fast and the Furious. It's so funny to go back to these movies and watch where they began. And it's, young Dom Toretto, and then there's the Paul Walker, the cop, Brian, and he's trying to figure out where, like, people are stealing, like, DVD, combo VHS DVD players, and they're just pretty much just like thieves with cars, and that was all it was. And now where the movies are, they're going to space. There's pretty much secret agents with cars. And it was a slow ramp, but it kind of within the last like 3 or 4 movies, it's really gone up. And it's just interesting to go back and look at the classic Fast and the Furious one. If you haven't seen them, they just get more fun and more silly. And as long as you go in knowing these movies are just a good time with tires, then you'll enjoy yourself. If you're trying to think about it too much, your brain might hurt. It's not worth it. Just have a good time. I think a very underrated comedy is Wet Hot American Summer. There's some amazing people in this movie, great cast, and it's just so silly and fun. Paul Rudd has some hilarious scenes as his really kind of like, I don't give a shit character. Ken Marino is hilarious. It's just, movies like this don't come around all the time, and I feel like it wasn't well known when it came out, but I think more and more time has gone on. It's become more and more of a cult classic. If you have not seen Wet Hot American Summer, you'll probably know every single person in the cast because it really is like a who's who of now who's huge in Hollywood. And they just do such fun, silly, amazing stuff in this movie. Please go check it out if you have not. Another absolute good time is Ocean's 11, the first one. Obviously, it's a remake. They made an old one back in the day, but this is the original, newer one. And you got George Clooney, you got Brad Pitt, you have a huge cast of characters, but just the charisma of all these guys and assembling the team, and all of them have different skills, and the heist is just so fun. Obviously, you have sequels, 12, 13, 14, they went back to 8 for some reason. The way they do the reveals of how they do things, all this kind of stuff, it's just a really, really fun way of showing a movie, and you're just like, oh man, you just the whole time you're just like, they're so cool. And then the list on a classic silly comedy that I can watch over and over that has a horrendous sequel, Zoolander. Ben Stiller just does such a fun job of being so oblivious and dumb as this character, but then still so charming and fun at the same time. And it's just one of those things you watch and you're like, this is not something that usually is not made today anymore. They made a sequel. They made Zoolander 2, I think probably 6, 7, 8 years ago. I'm not sure. I kind of lost track of time. But it was so bad. It just lost all the magic of the first one. And that's what happens. I think no matter what, if you make a sequel more than 10 years past the original that came out, please don't bother. Unless you have something new to bring to the table, don't do it. But Zoolander 2001, so good. What is this? A Center for Ants. 2002. I'm going through some of the best movies for every single year that I have been alive. And in 2002, I was 12.
Will's doing it.
We are starting off strong with one of the best, one of the classics, one of my favorites, Spider-Man. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I'm number one on the top of the list of all superheroes. I read the comics. I've seen every single movie. I know all the stuff to know about Peter Parker. I'm a huge fan. And this was the first live action one we had. Tobey Maguire. Now looking back at it now, he's very old. Everyone in that high school is in their, looks like they're in their 30s. So it's a little different now watching Tom Holland and younger people doing the characters. But at the time, it was classic. He does a good job of being like a nerdy Peter Parker, and the suit looks amazing, all the little webbing on it. Sam Raimi really knew how to make a campy but really fun Spider-Man movie. And I've watched all of them, obviously, and you can't forget about the Willem Dafoe. Just, he knows, every time he's in a movie, he just knows the movie he's in, and he gives it 110%, no matter what the genre, no matter what it is. He is, I think, one of the top 10 actors out there. He is so good and so fun as Norman Osborn / Green Goblin. You can't beat it. Absolutely love this movie. Next up, we have Catch Me If You Can, a very fun Steven Spielberg movie with Tom Hanks, an FBI agent trying to hunt down someone who's making all these forgeries and different things, and Leo being the con man / forger. And it's just like a really fun cat and mouse kind of, movie where he's kind of just ahead of him just by a little bit, and he thinks he always gets him, but he almost doesn't get him. It's just very fun, and Leo just is so charming. You can't stop watching him. He's just magnetic on screen. This movie just does such a fun job of showing you things and even though he's doing bad things, you're on his side because, go Leo. Now, a big shift we have 28 Days Later. Danny Boyle came out with this really fun, interesting movie. It's a zombie movie, yes, but it's a rage virus. It was shot on really cheap kind of handheld film. It really it has a grain to it that's just so interesting. You have Cillian Murphy doing one of his early movies where he wakes up after a zombie apocalypse has happened. He's in the hospital, and he walks around. It's just creepy how much empty London looked, where he's just walking around. And it's like, where the heck is everybody? And this is when they brought in the fast-running zombies. Most of the time, all zombie movies were pretty much just shuffling nice and slow. You kind of could get them around them if you were just kind of quick and you had a weapon. But these zombies sprinting at full speed, drooling, trying to get you, is very, very scary. And he does a really good job of the darkness in this movie and just the ferociousness of these zombies, or rage virus monsters, whatever you want to call them. They have a sequel 28 weeks later, and they have a new one 28 years later, which is coming out pretty soon as of recording this. And I'm just on board for all of it. Really, really fun stuff. If you haven't seen, go check it out. It's scary. We have another creepy one here. M. Night Shyamalan coming in with another movie, Signs. Really, really fun, interesting movie where it's about an alien invasion, obviously, but it's more than that. It's kind of a story about grief, about this family trying to figure their lives out, all kind of framed through an alien invasion kind of movie. Creepy things in the corn, Joaquin Phoenix and Mel Gibson just trying to keep their heads about themselves, and Joaquin Phoenix yelling at the TV, "No, behind! Vamonos, children!" It's just it has such a really good vibe. It's a very vibey film, and yeah, at the end, no spoilers. It's just interesting how the aliens are taken care of. I won't say much more. Just check out Signs if you haven't. It's really one of those things you see and you're just it kind of stays with you for a little bit. It stays in your brain. Now let's lighten things up. We have Mr. Deeds. Adam Sandler just doing what Adam Sandler does. He just brings this character and He wants to be a good guy. He gets all this money, and everyone's, of course, greedy people are after him to take it away from him. But he prevails, and it's just a good time. You have John Turturro just being a creepy guy who likes feet, and there's a lot of feet jokes in that movie, but it's still very, very fun. And last on the list, it's a movie, but not a movie, more like a documentary fun time. You have Jackass the movie. Now, this movie is silly and stupid and whatever, but growing up, Jackass on MTV and stuff like that was just like, as a teen, you watched it because dudes were getting hurt and you just didn't know why you were watching it so much. It was just curiosity, and being that age, I want to destroy stuff and I want to jump off a building. But the TV show moved into the movie, and they just upped the game with the budget and the stunts and all this different stuff. How many kids my age in the 90s and early 2000s didn't ride in a grocery cart and jump into a curb? Like, it was just kind of a rite of passage at the time. I'm sure kids now do stupider things on TikTok. So Jackass was just of its time, and I have to have it on here because it's something I watched all the time, and we'll probably rewatch whenever. 2003. I'm going through some of the best movies for each year that I have been alive. In the year 2003, I was 13.
Will's doing it.
Starting off 2003 with one of the best movies of the year, probably by far, Finding Nemo. Pixar has done it again. They are just so good at finding these unique ideas that haven't been really done before, and then just really nailing it. The motion, the way it looks, the water in this movie looks so beautiful. And just like all the caustics and different things you had to get, the light coming through the water, looks so good. And just a father looking for his son, adventure story. And of course, the ocean is so vast, so there's just so much to run into and experience, all this stuff. So it was just probably such a good time writing this, and just a good movie all around. Finding Nemo, you can't beat it. Next up, we're going to the Christmas side of things, and we got Elf. It's probably the most modern day absolute Christmas classic. There's a lot of movies like from back in the day that have come out that become a tradition, but Elf, I think, is the most recent one that really everyone has to turn on every single year. Will Ferrell is just the top. He's one of those comedic people who, no matter what he's in or what he's doing, I am tuning in because I know he will give a great performance and just has so much fun doing it. So we enjoy and really have fun watching it. Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? He has so many fun little things and so childish and fun in this movie that he's just so smiley and nice, and it kind of just makes you feel warm inside watching this movie. It's just so good. Love it. Switching over to some rock. We have School of Rock. I love this movie. I couldn't quote it from top to bottom. Jack Black. This movie is Jack Black. I cannot picture anyone even close to playing it the way Jack Black does. He brings everything to this movie, and it's his movie, even though obviously he's co-starring with some other people and a lot of wonderful kids, but he's such a character and so fun, and you just see it in the movie. He just brings it all, and you can't stop watching. School of Rock. If you have for some reason have not seen this movie, go run right now. It is the best. Going over to a novel you might have read in like elementary school or middle school, we have Holes. Shia LaBeouf's in this movie. Whatever he is now, who knows? But in the time of Holes, it was a classic. It was so fun. You had this great cast of kids and teenagers playing these inmates, I guess, just digging holes. And there's a mystery. There's an old prophecy, an old tale that has to be fulfilled. Just a really good time. You can't beat Holes. Love Holes. And next up, we have a movie about a Disney ride. Yeah, we're talking about Pirates of the Caribbean. So many people probably don't really think about it that much, where it's like, oh yeah, this was a ride at Disneyland or Disney World, and they're like, let's make this into a full movie with actual characters and multiple sequels. Think what you will about Johnny Depp these days, but him doing Captain Jack Sparrow is like a really amazing character. He does such a good job, and like completely embodying this character between the walking and the talking and everything he does just. And I think he kind of like, you see him now, it's kind of Jack Sparrow's kind of stayed with him, I think, a bit, from the way he just wears like 100 scarves and has things in his teeth or whatever it is. But Pirates of the Caribbean is a really great movie. They have the crew playing these skeleton zombie guys, and some of that effect is really, really well done for 2003 looking. It looks great. And you have Orlando Bloom looking very hunky in this movie. You have Keira Knightley just being like the damsel, but she still is Very, very capable of herself. It's just a good movie all around. And it's so funny that just like, let's make a movie about the ride. And it worked out so well. And last on this list, we have Freaky Friday, the more modern-ish day one, 2003, with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. Mom and daughter switching bodies. The mom didn't understand the daughter and what was important to her and her rock band and all this different stuff. And then the daughter didn't understand what was going on with the mom, with her relationship to her new boyfriend or whatever, all this different stuff. It's a thing. It's very of the times, very early 2000s. The music in it is very that. And you have Chad Michael Murray rocking the same, I think, hair he has now. He just looks older, but he's a good looking chap in that movie. But you have classic Lindsay Lohan, early 2000s, just killing it. Kind of before she started her little bit of a downward spiral. Now she's kind of on the back ups, and I'm very happy for her. And they're making this Freaky Friday or Freaky Friday 2. I'm not sure if it's Freakier Friday or if it's just Freaky Friday 2. But Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis are back. So let's see what happens this time. I don't know. Check it out. 2004. I'm going through some of the best movies for each year that I have been alive. And in the year 2004, I was 14.
Will's doing it.
Starting off 2004, very strong with Spider-Man 2. The first ones I absolutely love. This one might be a touch better. I don't know. It's pretty close. You have Dr. Octopus in this one just being just a good villain against Peter. Sam Raimi just does such a good job with these characters and just keeping the fun and the excitement up the entire movie all the way through. You have some amazing set pieces. You have the subway, runaway subway, him he's trying to stop it, all his webs and all that kind of stuff. Them fighting on top of the train, all this different stuff that just it kind of just heightens and heightens and heightens, and it's just well done all the way through. Spider-Man 2, mwah, chef kiss. Next up, you have one of my favorites, Edgar Wright. Just such a good and fun filmmaker. Every time I see a movie from him, I'm like, this is just so fun and well done. He does such an interesting job with transitions. He isn't just cut from one thing to the next with an establishing shot. He does really fun, cool whips showing like someone putting the seatbelt on, then the person driving, and then all these different things, little tiny mini vignette things to get to the next scene. And it's just so energetic and just really, really just a great time to watch. And of course, you have great zombie work in this. You have fun, they have action scenes with music to the beat, all these different things like that. They're just so different, but then silly, and just it's a great time to watch. If you have not seen Shaun of the Dead, go check it out. Switching up a little bit, we have Napoleon Dynamite. I remember when I saw this movie for the first time, and I just thought it was so dumb and stupid because I didn't get it. And I watched it again. I think, I'm not sure how much more later, but I watched it again. And then I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. This is amazing. The dryness of it, the characters are just so like deadpan serious and doing the most fun and interesting things. It's one of those movies you like really just have to love. And it's like, oh, my tots, like there's just so many things, and it's just like, what is going on? But that movie really is a cult classic, and also just like jumped into the zeitgeist. So much of that time was Napoleon Dynamite. I remember the Vote for Pedro shirt I had. It was just a moment. It was a thing, a moment that everyone just said, that is weird, and I love it. A very different kind of high school movie. We have Mean Girls. Another Lindsay Lohan, just absolute like touchstone of a movie. You have Rachel McAdams being, you always forget she's in this movie because she does such a good job of playing so many different kind of characters. She has a really good range. This movie is just a classic, high school movie of girls being nasty to each other. It is quotable to no end, and some really great people in it. Mean Girls, they made it into a musical. They made the musical also into a movie. Mean Girls is just one of those classics for people of my generation. They just will always love it. Next up, we have The Incredibles. What a good time of a movie. You watch this, the stakes are there, the superpowers are so fun, you have all these great characters with different interesting powers, and it's just also about a really nice family movie of them not getting along, them not living their true selves, and then they are able to use their powers. They're able to go out there and save the day, and it just feels good, and at the end you're just like, oh, I want a warm hug from all those characters. And they came out with a sequel, I think not as good as the original because it was a sequel so far later. So it kind of lost its touch, its magic. But the movie looks great. It has this fun retro vibe, which is really interesting and kind of different for, movies like that. And it just, you can't beat Incredibles. Coming up next, we have the comedy that kind of defined myself in this in this time. We have Anchorman. The amount of times me and my friends would just sit around and just quote the movie to each other, not even having conversation about anything important, literally just putting lines back and forth into each other's mouths. And it's just, mwah. Will Ferrell, Steve Carell, Paul Rudd. There's just, the cast is just stacked, and you just can't beat it. The quotableness of this movie is off the freaking charts. Oh, milk was a bad choice. Oh, just everything about it. And the bloopers are so great. I've watched this so many times. Same thing again. They had a sequel come out probably too much later after the movie. Not as fun. Didn't capture the same magic. But what a movie. Anything Will Ferrell's in, I'm in. He's just magnetic. Next up, we have I, Robot. Will Smith. There's robots. He doesn't trust them. Then one's might have committed a crime. We're trying to figure it out. But actually, it's a bigger conspiracy. This movie is, very light sci-fi, but, what happens in the future when we all have robots. We're not that far off nowadays, which is kind of crazy. Every time I see Elon come out with some silly robot, he's like, this is going to change the world and cook and clean, I always think of this movie, and I'm like, I don't know about that. They do some great CG on this robot. Kind of, he's like somewhat see-through, but his eyes are very, very human-like, so it does a really good job of doing that. I'm a big sci-fi nerd, so anything with robots or in the future and like, what's going to happen to us in, who knows how many years, I'm always in. Now up next, the romantic movie of the millennium. We have The Notebook. What can I say about The Notebook? You have Ryan Gosling being so dang charming. Every time I see him in this movie or outside this movie, I'm drawn to him. Not in a sexual way, but just in a way like, wow, what a guy. He's amazing. We have Rachel McAdams again in this countdown here. Just the range. She goes from being a bully in high school all the way to being this romantic lead here. And just, she's so great. And the kiss in the rain and like, I wrote you every day. I thought it was over. It still isn't over. Mwah. And the kiss and it's passionate. And then the whole, this is technically the whole movie is a flashback because it's all about the Rachel McAdams in the future having I guess Alzheimer's or dementia, and she can't remember, and then he comes every single day and has her remember her beautiful life and their beautiful love, and she has to fall in love with him every day again. Oh, beautiful. And then they pass away together in the same bed. That's like every couple's dream. It's like, I don't want to live without you, so we're just gonna have to pass away at the exact same time. Love forever. Oh, what a movie. They're both amazing. Come on. The Notebook. Makes you cry, makes you laugh. Everything is beautiful. And switching it up very, very abruptly, we have Saw. This is the first Saw movie. They've made like 100 later. Some are okay, some are not. Some are weird and some are just whatever. But this is the one that really started off with the mystery of who is what's going on, and the body horror, the torture porn that they ended up calling it, because it was just like, and do you want to play a game? Go into this guy's belly and pull out a key and then unfree yourself before the time goes off. Or if the time goes off before you get it, your head blows off. Like, I watched all these back when they were coming out in like, early 2000s and on. I think I'm good now. They have newer ones that have come out in the last couple of years. I haven't rushed to them because like I kind of, once you've seen a couple of Saws, you kind of seen them all. So, but this one was kind of a groundbreaking at the time. Now I'm kind of over them. Yeah. And to end the list, we have Day After Tomorrow. Just a really fun disaster movie where you have, climate change and stuff, which, well, that sounds familiar. Things just, weather patterns being all messed up. Oh, it sounds familiar again. And then the Earth pretty much going to like a second ice age. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm waiting. You have Jake Gyllenhaal. You have all these people, great cast, and it's just really, really interesting disaster movie, all in New York City. You have seeing all the water fly through the city. It's the Statue of Liberty, like pretty much like a wave, like pretty much taking it out, and then everything freezing on top of it. So it's like it was all crazy flooding, and then it just got so cold that everything just froze high. So it's like, I don't know how many people would have perished in that. So many probably, but they do a really good job of keeping it like kind of contained and to kind of just this small group, and you follow them and just trying to survive in this harsh condition. It's just a really good movie. Jake Gyllenhaal is a great guy. 2005, I am going through some of the best movies for each year that I have been alive. And in 2005, I was 15.
Will's doing it.
Let's begin 2005 with Batman Begins. Christopher Nolan took over the Batman series, and he does a really, really good job. Obviously, we know Dark Knight comes out in a couple of years from now, but in 2005, it began with Batman Begins. And it's such an interesting way to start up an origin story. Like, we all know how Batman kind of got his way, but like, we usually don't see him going to train. We just see his parents get killed, and then you see him being Batman. Like, I liked seeing him kind of grow and fight and work with Morgan Freeman, Lucius Fox in this movie to, get his gear, all this different stuff. Like, it built slower, which kind of worked for me a little better than just jumping straight to Batman. So when he becomes full-on Batman, it's like, oh, sweet. Christian Bale is great. He looks great. He has a great chin. The voice is a bit much sometimes, where he's like, he doesn't need to do that much, but it worked for what it was. You have Michael Caine being a great Alfred. He does a great job. Mr. Wayne. And just a great start to what becomes a really, amazing sequel. Not the best ending to a trilogy, but no big deal. Get the next movie, Dark Knight, which everyone knows Dark Knight was the top of these, but you had to begin somewhere. Next up, one of the funniest comedies out there, you have 40-Year-Old Virgin with Steve Carell, just bringing so much to this and just having an amazing cast. I will never not laugh at this movie for the rest of my life. So many quotable lines, just so good. And they really waxed his chest. All that stuff with the Kelly Clarkson and yelling and all that stuff, he really did that. That's why it was so authentic and really, and he has the lines on his chest the rest of the movie. I just love that movie. Steve Carell is an absolute gift to the world. Every time he's in something, he's just amazing. All right, off to a galaxy far, far away, we have Star Wars Episode 3. Prequels were not my favorite, still really aren't my favorite. Some of these are very cheesy, but out of the prequels, Episode 3 is, I guess, the best. I think they rush Anakin going to the dark side way too fast. It goes from, hey, maybe do some dark side things, straight to kill kids. What? It needed to build more. There's a lot of things that needed to happen with the prequels that did not. And obviously then people because to people growing up, even like after my time, really think of the prequels as like an original trilogy. Like, I grew up with the original trilogy being out before these came out, so I kind of knew those before. But if people are watching from the beginning, and this is their original trilogy, so I kind of get the love and hate people have for it. But the third one's good-ish. You have Anakin and Obi-Wan's fight at the end, which is probably one of the highlights of the whole movie. And Star Wars is, of course, one of my favorites. I'm big sci-fi guy, so Star Wars is great. There's always hit or misses, and I feel like I'd rather see things in the world that doesn't have to do with like all the Jedi stuff all the time. So I think some of the TV shows are doing a pretty good job with it now, but Episode 3 is okay. Pretty good to okay to the best of the three prequels. I'll just say that. Next up, we have Sin City. Really, really interesting, stylized kind of movie. Every harsh black and white with pops of color. Very comic booky, very dour, very like, oh, everything is terrible. Everything's black and white. There is no color except for here or there. It's a crime action drama with a lot of interesting choices. I haven't seen it in a very long time, but I do remember liking it in this era because the early 2000s were very like angsty, gritty, and all this kind of stuff was kind of like the thing to do. So I appreciate it for what it is. I don't know if I'll run back to it anytime soon, but I remember coming out and being like, this is sick when I was, 14, 15 years old. So, take that as you will. Another great comedy, we have Wedding Crashers, Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. Vince Vaughn's talking really fast. You have Owen Wilson going, oh, wow. Rachel McAdams is in this as like the love interest. She's wonderful as always. She's always amazing. And just a lot of fun. What if two guys just crash different weddings? And You know, they had a whole weekend about it, and Christopher Walken's in it. And Bradley Cooper's in this as the jerk boyfriend of Rachel McAdams, and Owen Wilson's like, "Oh man, what are you doing?" Oh, that was terrible. Don't listen to my impressions. But yeah, it's one of those movies that you have seen, and you're like, if it's on, you're like, yeah, I'll watch this. You have Will Ferrell in it doing just a really fun job of just being like, "Ma, the meatloaf." You can't beat that. Just one of those movies you'll turn if it's on TV, you'll sit and watch no matter what's going on. And last on my list for 2005, we have Hitch. Will Smith just being as charming as he can be. Eva Mendes being as beautiful as she is. Him kind of being like a pickup artist, telling guys what to do, what to say. And he's, just kind of giving guys some extra confidence, some game. I don't think he was being too sleazy like some pickup artists like can be, I'm sure. But, he does his thing. Kevin James is in it being like, the doofy kind of, oh, he's the fat guy. Haha. He can't ever get a girl, but when Hitch helps him, he can. I'm kind of, that whole being you're a fat guy so everything is harder for you kind of thing is very played out and very lame now, I think. But this movie is charming. Kevin James, he does his king and queen thing where he does the hands in the pockets, But it's just a fun movie. Like he's a pickup artist who then falls in love himself and he has to use his own game, which sometimes even doesn't even work for himself. 2006. I'm going through some of the best movies for each year that I have been alive, and in 2006, I was 16.
Will's doing it.
Coming up next, we have The Prestige. Oh, Prestige. This is a lesser-known Christopher Nolan movie. You may have heard about this movie, but you probably were like, oh, that's Christopher Nolan. But it still follows kind of his vibe, where it's like there's mystery, there's unknowns, and at the end, I won't spoil anything. You're like, oh, it's Christian Bale, it's Hugh Jackman. They're rival kind of magicians in this kind of like olden timey kind of thing, and there's a daughter involved, and it gets pretty crazy. And I won't spoil anything. Nikola Tesla's also in it. Crazy stuff going on. Just a really, really interesting, fun movie. In the end, you're like, whoa, we have a Will Ferrell absolute classic, Talladega Nights. Ricky Bobby is just one of those characters that you'll see and you'll watch and you'll be like, God damn, Will Ferrell is so funny. Every time I see him, he's just so good at not like even reading lines, just improvising as the character, and he stays in it and you're completely bought in. Like, that's Ricky Bobby, and he does such a fun job. And of course it's goofy, it's silly. You have Sacha Baron Cohen being a Frenchman kind of thing, and he's also gay, so they play, everything to the 100th degree, and it's just so fun. And it makes fun of NASCAR, it just makes fun of everything in a fun way. And the movie's quoted like 100 times. If you're not first, you're last. It's just classic stuff. And Will Ferrell just always brings his A game to everything he's doing. And speaking of Sacha Baron Cohen, we have his magnum opus. We have Borat that came out in 2006. I remember going to the theater and watching Borat when this movie came out. I was 16. Borat humor was the pinnacle. You could not go anywhere without hearing "my wife" or "la la la la, very nice." Like, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing that if this movie came out. And seeing it in theaters and just hurting from laughing. Some of the scenes are just so freaking funny, and the way he gives the lines so straight, even though it's being ridiculous, and he's in these real or somewhat real situations, I guess, and he commits so hard. The commitment, that's what it is. It's the commitment to the character and to the absurdity that just brings it home so well. And he's done a couple other things. He's done Bruno. He's done other things, obviously, over the years. But I think Borat was really like his top. And they came out with a sequel that was still fun, and but kind of it couldn't capture the magic of the original Borat. Oh, chef kiss. I was 16. What can you say? This whole back of this half of this list is all comedies, because 2006, I guess, was a good year for comedy. Next up, we have Click. Adam Sandler. He wanted to, fast forward through certain parts of his life. He gets this magical remote, and he, is able to pause things, fast forward, rewind, do things with all the things you could do with a remote. It's silly at first, but then it gets really dark and emotional. I remember I literally cry at the end of the movie when he's laying down in a puddle screaming for his son, and it's just so emotional. I even just thinking about it now, I'm getting a little choked up because it's really like he skipped through his life. He's like, what? No, oh my gosh, I missed everything. Send me back. And then how grateful he is when he goes back and he's able to like appreciate the things he has in his life. It's just Adam Sandler could like do silly, fun stuff, which he always does, but he can still really bring the heart to it. He did that with Big Daddy. He's done with this movie. He has a great balance of the silly comedic and the really, really heartfelt. Love Click, one of the tops. And last on the list, we have a silly, absurdist, just such a fun time, Nacho Libre. We have Jack Black just being Jack Black, bringing 110% to this. The lines in this movie are so funny. Me and my brothers quote it constantly. Get that cone out of my face, and all this different stuff. That just is so fun and good. And these are my street clothes. My other ones were stinky, and he tightens his butt cheeks. It makes me laugh so hard every single time. This one is just absolutely great. 2007, I'm going through some of the best movies for every year that I have been alive. In the year 2007, I was 17.
Will's doing it.
Starting off real strong in 2007, we have Super Bad. I cannot explain to you going to the theater and seeing this. I was 17 in the year this movie came out. I was in my senior year of high school. This movie was made for my generation at that exact time. They're nerdy dudes leaving their senior year, wanting to experience these things before they go to college, the best friend aspect, all these different things that just like, it was perfect timing for me to see this movie. I laughed so hard in the theaters with everyone there, but just being in that perfect window, I was love at first sight. You have Jonah Hill acting much younger than he is, but he's pulled it off. Michael Cera just being Michael Cera, babyface Michael Cera for his whole life, and they both killed it. And you have McLovin. I remember having the McLovin license plate on my t-shirt. This movie has unlimited classic lines, and it was pretty much the only thing that was quoted for that whole year and beyond. It's just such a great movie. If you've not seen it, what you been doing? I don't know if it'll play as well now because everyone has cell phones, and it was a different era in the early 2000s, but still holds a place in my heart for sure. Next up, we have another Edgar Wright movie that is just so great, Hot Fuzz. He did Shaun of the Dead, and now this is his second one, Hot Fuzz. It's pretty much same actors from Shaun of the Dead. You have Simon Pegg, you have Nick Frost, just being a great duo. It's just a really great small town conspiracy movie where Simon Pegg's a hardcore cop. He comes from the big city to the smaller town because he's just too good at his job and everyone kind of hates him for it. The way Edgar Wright shoots his movies are just very fast-paced, very fun, energetic. You don't just kind of see from one scene to the other. Things just go from quick cut scenes to the next scene, and it's just all really well done, and it's a hilarious movie with a lot of great action. Go check it out. Hot Fuzz. If you've not seen it, go check it out. I highly recommend. We go from Hot Fuzz to Hot Rod. I didn't realize both these movies came out in the same year, which is kind of funny. Hot Fuzz, Hot Rod. Hot Rod is Andy Samberg, all kind of the Lonely Island crew. Bill Hader's in it. Danny McBride's in it. It's it's an absurdist, silly comedy where you have Andy Samberg as like an Evel Knievel type stuntman, and he wants to kick his stepdad's ass, but then he can't because his stepdad's dying. So then they want to plan a huge like fundraiser for him, and like it actually goes like a whole bunch of people donate money, and he wants to like jump like I don't know how many buses, Evel Knievel style. It's just and it's like there's just silliness throughout, and it's just really silly and fun. If you haven't checked it out, it's different than Hot Fuzz, but it's Hot Rod. Now switching up to a bit more of a kind of a adult comedy, above high school level comedy, we have Knocked Up. You have Judd Apatow bringing in Seth Rogen, Katherine Heigl. It's more of an adult. Like in 2007, I was not really understanding a lot of the adultness of this movie with babies and I was still a virgin at this time, so I really didn't have any sex to know what happened. I know what happened. I knew what would happen, but like when I was watching the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, sex makes baby. I got that. But I didn't really like kind of comprehend everything. Now watching it as I'm an adult. I have a wife. It's all good. My wife being pregnant right now actually is going to be actually really fun to revisit this movie and see how much of the things kind of match up with real life. Going over to the animation side, we have Ratatouille. What a clever, just really original idea. There's a rat who he loves cooking. It's voiced by Patton Oswalt, and he befriends a dorky kind of chef, and he hides under his hat, and he's able to control him. So, but then he gets a little bit of a big head. He thinks he's the chef. It's like, no, don't forget the rat is the chef, and it's just a beauty. It's a love letter to French cuisine and all these different things. And it's just such a good movie. And if you have not seen Ratatouille or made the dish Ratatouille with all the vegetables stacked up, delicious. Both of them. Check them out. Now, changing gears completely, we threw into reverse. We have There Will Be Blood. You have Daniel Day-Lewis just being as Daniel Day-Lewis as you can. He screams, he yells, he does this accent that just is only from this movie. I don't ever heard it ever in my life, but it's from this movie. Yes, I'm an oil man. I can't do it because I'm not Daniel Day-Lewis, but I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my boy. And it's just a masterclass in acting. And you have Paul Dano also just killing in this movie. It's just one of those movies that you watch and they bring the classic line, I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. If I got a straw and I go all the way across the room and I drink your milkshake, I just absolutely love it. I remember watching this and was just like, this is a movie. There's other movies that are kind of like fun, good times, but this is like a movie. There Will Be Blood. Check it out. And last on the list, we have a scary one. We have a spooky one. We have the first Paranormal Activity. They've made plenty of them after this one, but this was the OG one. Though, like, when found footage movies were kind of really popping off, this one really stood out because it was chilling. Remember watching this and like, obviously it's fake. Even though I'm watching it, I'm like, I know this is not real. But just the way the found footage thing is, and how it went from like day to night cycle, every time it hit, like the text came up that it's like night 3, and you're like, oh my god, oh no, what's gonna happen tonight? Oh shit, you're freaking out because like and the way they did the camera work, where it's like every corner of the screen you're looking for something, like, oh, did that just move? Or because everything's a little grainy because of the footage, so it's like, and you're in night vision, so sorry, I'm getting worked up. It's just such a really interesting way to do the movie. They've done other ones where there was one where they put the camera like on an oscillating fan. I think it was the second or the third one. And the way it pans back, and you're like, every time it's panning back, you're expecting something to be there. And every time you're like holding your breath, and then it's like, oh, nothing. And then it pans back, oh, nothing. And then eventually something does happen. Obviously it releases, but it's just such a good found footage. Obviously they like probably threw it into the ground after this, but the first one really brought something special you had not seen before. Paranormal Activity, go check it out. It's creepy. 2008, I am going through some of the great movies for every single year that I have been alive. In the year 2008, I turned 18. That's right, I can go to war, but I could still not buy an alcoholic beverage.
Will's doing it.
Starting off real strong, in 2008, this was the movie that came out, The Dark Knight. Batman is back, and he's got an insanely amazing villain. We have Heath Ledger's Joker. I remember every single person and their mother talked about this movie. It was everything. And unfortunately, Heath Ledger did pass away not too far after this movie came out. He got the Oscar, which is very sad. He was incredible. Christopher Nolan did an amazing job bringing this to life, and Heath Ledger, it was really his movie. He really brought this chaos and this just like this force to the role that not many people have gotten since, and a lot of people are trying to do something different, but he really did the Joker right. Going over to another superhero movie, we have Iron Man, the first Iron Man, one of probably the first movies in the MCU. Technically it was like the other Ed Norton Hulk, but I think this is the real beginning of like what the MCU became. The origin's great. Robert Downey Jr. is pretty much like born to play this role. He kind of, now I see him in interviews in real life, I'm like, he's just being Tony Stark. But I guess it's like where he begins and Robert Downey Jr. kind of begins and ends is kind of all like mushed together now, and he's just the one guy. The suit looks great. Just all around, just great movie. And obviously we know what happens in the MCU. It all starts here. Next up, we have another found footage kind of monster movie. We have Cloverfield. This is not my favorite movie. It's kind of, you watch it and you're like, I want you to kind of see a little bit of it. You're like, oh, this could have been like a short. It doesn't need to be like a whole like full like hour and a half movie. It's fine. Before you like see the monster and you see like the person kind of running through the city with the camera, sometimes the shake is a bit much, I think, but I kind of know what they're going for. And you see like the giant head of the you see the head of the Statue of Liberty just fly through the street, and it's like, holy shit, this is quite a threat. But then it's kind of like a Godzilla kind of thing. I don't know. My problem with all these big giant monster movies, it's like it's so hard to like show the monster destroying everything, but then also then have smaller human characters that I'm supposed to care about, because like they can get squashed in a second. Like I don't really care about the human characters. I like recent movie that was really good is Godzilla Minus One, that has the Godzilla, but then really still is able to do a very good human story at the same time. I know this is not about Godzilla Minus One, but this is about Cloverfield. But that like kind of that's the disconnect sometimes with these kind of movies. But I still think it was of its time. It came out and you were like, whoa, this is new, this is crazy, this is different. Cloverfield monster, rawr. Speaking of another movie that maybe didn't age as well and might be a little to watch nowadays, Tropic Thunder. Very funny. Obviously, Rob Downey Jr. doing straight up blackface in this movie is a little questionable. I think people kind of give it a pass because in the movie, he's an actor that thinks it's totally fine to do this. And like, I'm just playing a character and this is the character. So I think they're calling it out enough that it's not like they know it's offensive. That's kind of the point they're showing, is how offensive it is by him doing this. So, but it's still a very... there's a tightrope there, and I don't know. I remember this movie being, besides that aspect of the movie, being very funny. Ben Stiller's great. Just playing kind of like where it's like, they're actors, but they come in, but then it becomes kind of real, which is cool. And just a very fun movie. Great cast. Some of the hinky parts are a little hinky, but, you know, it is what it is. Next up, we have a very important set of skills. That was terrible. Next movie is Taken. You have Liam Neeson. I remember being very like upset watching this movie when seeing his daughter get taken and all this kind of stuff. It's very like scary. Like, you know, I'm sure I'm not a parent yet, but I'm sure this is something that would be very, very scary for, you know, a parent of a younger teen watching this. You're like, oh my God, don't let your kid go to Europe on their own. Bad things happen. That's what that movie taught me. But Liam Neeson's coming in doing just, I'm a badass guy. Taken was kind of like the model. And there's so many movies now that are like, I'm a parent, but you didn't know I'm actually a badass. Like, they've done that so many times now. But this is kind of the OG one. Liam Neeson has like that phone call. I have a particular set of skills. Like, I can't do a Liam Neeson, but he has such gravitas giving that you're like so locked in after that. And then he just goes and finds a way to get to the bad guys. Obviously rescue his daughter, which is what we're here for. Great movie. And last on the list, probably one of the top movies of the year, we have Step Brothers. Another Will Ferrell, just absolutely killing it. He's playing an immature adult man baby with John C. Reilly as his stepbrother. They both have great chemistry. The lines are hilarious. They're supposed to be like in their 40s and they're acting like they're 12. And it's just so funny and silly. And just the amount of lines you can get from this movie. It's the Catalina wine mixer, the whole singing thing at the end. Putting the nuts on the drum set, like there's so like I could keep going. It's just such a great movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's so fun. Boats and Hoes. 2009. I'm going through some of the great movies for every single year that I have been alive, and in the year 2009, I was 19.
Will's doing it.
We're starting out probably with the biggest movie of the year. We have James Cameron's Avatar. It's crazy that this movie came out in 2009 for also how amazing it looks, but how long we waited till the sequel that just came out not that long ago as of filming this. It was the biggest movie financially for sure. It beat out his old record of Titanic, which is crazy. And James Cameron does a good job. The story is not really that complex. It really is Pocahontas on an alien planet. That's really all it is. But I think the breakthroughs in different CG work and all this different thing, they completely pretty much made the world from scratch. Not much of it, besides some of the human quarters they're in, are like on-set things. So, and like the face capture, the all the things they do with motion capture, kind of breakthrough stuff, and they've kind of just improved it since then. I like the Avatar films, but like when the new one came out, I wasn't like, oh, I can't wait to see it. Or then they're doing like, 12 of them going forward. I'll see them because I know they'll be like visually beautiful to watch on the screen, but like so far nothing's blown me away. Like the way Dune has recently. Like I love Dune. I don't love Avatar the same way. It's a different like kind of franchise for me. But I can't deny what James Cameron did with the first one, and I'm sure what he's going to do with the other ones, just making them look absolutely beautiful and capturing something very interesting. Next up, we have Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds. Now, this is one that I can rewatch all the time. It is so well done. He has such a great cast in it. I'm fine with reading subtitles. Some people are weird with that. They can't, like, I can't read and watch at the same time. It's like, once you get used to the reading subtitles, everything in German, all that kind of things, this movie is so well done, and you could just sit, like, the scene in like, the little tavern, basement tavern, with Fassbender, all this different stuff. It is like watching like a play. Like, you're literally watching a play, and obviously Tarantino is just great at writing dialogue, and he really just writes a really, really great script. Brad Pitt is hilarious in this movie, but I think absolutely the star, which we all know, Christoph Waltz, really blew up on the scene with this movie. He is so well-spoken, but also so terrifying in this movie, and just such a great written character. Tarantino just gave him such great dialogue to kind of go through each scene and slowly ratchet up his kind of like his menacing. The opening scene of them in the little farmhouse with the family hiding under the floorboards, just the back and forth of them speaking in French and then in English. It's just so amazing all the way through. Great movie. Go check it out if you have not. Speaking of subtitles, we have The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the original 2009 Swedish version with Nubin Rapace. I'm sure I might not be pronouncing it right. She was the girl with the dragon tattoo in this one. They've remade it more recently in English with Daniel Craig. I think it's the same-ish movie, but I think this one just really, really hit home. It's based on a book. Very, very gripping, like crimey thriller, whodunit, what's going on. Really just so well done. And you're just so in. This is kind of like the time of movies where I was like watching like movies where I'm like, I'm a movie guy now. I want to watch the cool, edgy, fun, interesting stuff. And this is definitely on that list. Really, really enjoyed it. And then going to the other side of the complete spectrum, we have The Hangover. If I can't describe being a, later teen when this movie came out, this movie was the zeitgeist of 2009. I honestly, between Avatar and this, that like it kind of defined the next 5 years of everything. The quoting, the merch. I remember I can see if I can find it. I'll put it up here. A picture, a T-shirt of the baby with the sunglasses from Hangover. I just would wear it. Why? I don't know. It wasn't. Looking back now, I'm like, why would I wear that? That's so interesting and weird of me to do. But that's what you did in the early 2000s when you were, a teenager, and you're just like, I remember people like, I saw the movie. Do you get my reference? Like, it's just it's one of those movies they like, especially growing into my like early 20s when then like I was like, drinking more and like being out, quote unquote, partying and things like that. Like, this is like the movie that people were like, oh, we're going to get so drunk tonight that it's going to be like a hangover. Like, it's going to be like the movie. It's like, and it never is, because obviously the movie is fake. And, I just would drink in a friend's basement and then go to wake up the next morning with a little headache and you had food. If I do that now, I might be dead. Staying on the comedy side of things, we have I Love You, Man. I remember watching this movie and just being like, this is kind of my like flavor of comedy. You have Jason Segel, you have Paul Rudd, just a buddy comedy that just is so fun to watch, and just having them bounce off each other. He's more tight, straight-laced. He's a little more free-loving. But then like they become too close of friends where it kind of messes up with Paul Rudd's fiance and things like that, where it's like you guys are too close. Like, he didn't have any friends, and then he found a friend, and they became like too close. But obviously it resolved itself in the end. Slap at that bass. That's all I gotta say. And then ending on a cool one, we have Moon. Sam Rockwell is a person on the moon who is like living with some sort of robot guy, and he's out there pretty much like conducting experiments on the moon. I don't want to give any spoilers about this, but there is more than one of Sam Rockwell in this movie. I want to kind of get deeper than that, but really, really interesting movie. A really fun like mystery sci-fi. Love a sci-fi. Just love it. Always my cup of tea. And that was 2009. Some really big movies this year. If you like this, I have a playlist going from all the years, 1990 all the way up to today. And if you could please subscribe, that would be fantastic. Follow me on Letterboxd. I write reviews all the time. I love that app. And I love making these. And I hope you guys love watching them. What was your favorite movie from 2009? Leave it down below. Have a good one, everybody.